Hello, thank you for joining Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez, also known as Ricks2Cents, along with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
Howdy, y'all.
Looks like the banner is still up here from the last thing. We'll put that away so we can start.
You got something. Oh, there we go. Some
Tim says too early, never too early, brother.
too early.
He was because he was in the live probably 30 minutes before it started. No worry, appreciate you showing up and let us know if you're in. Let us know if you have any questions. Appreciate you checking in.
Yeah, I usually log in. I was actually logged in about quarter after, and I usually get into the chat, but I didn't today because I was making my fancy new background here.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks cool. I like it. So let me ask you, how does the light in the room directly affect that? Is it pretty much dark in that actual room or no?
So I have my overhead light off, but I've got like 3 spotlights right here, right? Like studio lights. And I mean, this thing's bright. I actually have the brightness turned down, way down.
So is it projecting it on a wall or is that actually projecting on a screen?
That's a screen.
Okay, that looks good.
Yeah,
looks awesome. I think it's so cool.
It wasn't cheap, but I needed to spend money so I don't have to pay taxes.
There you go.
So
there you go.
It was a treat for the studio.
I like it. And today, Chris,
how's your winter going? Who's got winter? Oh, Chris has winter. Oh, Rick froze up.
Looks like I buffered a second. I'm gonna steal that Cat 5 from my printer and plug my laptop.
Chris says it's almost over. Nice sunny day. Be better once the sun is up and warms things up a little. Well, the sun just left here, so it'll be at your place soon.
How's the smoke, Steve?
We got no smoke here anymore. We got like last week or the week before, I guess it was last week. We got like 2 days where we had 2 inches of rain each day, and that kind of there's a fire about, I don't know, 15 miles from me probably, and it put that thing out in a hurry. So they got it under control.
There's
but out west on the west coast, it's crazy.
There's like over 5,000 people without power in my area. There's 3,000 linemen working, and hear this: out of the 3,000 linemen, only 1,200 are from our state.
Yeah,
so
we got some Canadians down there.
Yeah, people are coming from all over to help, so that's cool. So thank you guys for helping.
So I see you guys got well, actually, I guess I was just reading a thing there. It's like 42 states now have this cyclospora thing.
Oh, diarrhea?
Yeah. It's explosive. You always have to say explosive.
Yeah, explosive. Oh man. I don't know. I was reading this thing that says that like in the 50s, it was common that everyone used to like do these parasite flushes and all these type of flushes, detoxes in your bodies, because we didn't have the greatest refrigeration than that. But since the FDA came around, they're like, I don't gotta do that no more. And they're saying like people have tapeworms and all this crazy stuff, and that's just stuff you don't think about, right?
Yeah.
And then you start seeing all this stuff all over the news. You're like, it's kind of gross, but it's kind of crazy at the same time.
Yeah, it's one of these days you'll wake up and go, wait a minute, we're a third world country. I was reading something from, I don't know, American Press, and they were talking about cyclospora and spiratus, and they said it comes from lettuce, so boil your lettuce.
So the way I heard, supposedly, now there's any truth to this, but it's the biggest factory the biggest farm who's spreading was in Texas.
Yeah.
And basically what it was the farmer not allowing the pickers to use the restrooms. So the restrooms were pooping and peeing in the field as they were picking. And supposedly that feces was getting directly onto the plants. So maybe it was like a kind of retaliation, or maybe not intentional. I don't know.
This will teach you.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But,
I don't know. That sounds a bit like a conspiracy theory, but they do use but they tend to have big vegetable farms right beside big livestock farms, and they they tend to draw from the same water, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Tony said Cleveland, Ohio is out of the hospital and in the house.
Oh,
yeah.
Being in the hospital was not a good thing.
McPhil 3D said hello from South Carolina. Hello. Thank you for joining. Let us know if you have any questions, everyone. Appreciate everyone checking in. So we get a lot of flack lately all over the news about these data centers, man. It's just absolutely insane. I saw they posted a video of the Rio Grande River, and it was no river.
Yeah.
It's gone. Like
they use so much water. So Meta announced that they're going to build one in Canada here, and it's on out west, and everybody, like all the local residents, are like, rah rah, we got business, and it's like, yeah, wait till your power bills quadruple, and you can't get any water. And I mean, the way their contracts are written for those places, it's like we get power before anybody else, right?
Yeah.
And so, if you're a homeowner and things get a little tough, well, your power you may have a blackout.
Yeah.
Now we do have lots of power in this country. It's not really an issue, but it's just not good.
I didn't realize the whole thing. I guess I'm so used to now we don't watch TV because we're so stuck on apps, right? Everything's an app on demand. I actually was watching TV, and I was watching Cuba and how they were saying like the United States is kind of blocking them in ways for natural resources, and how they're actually having issues with not having power, not having oil, not having gas, and how they're getting creative in creating energy. And it's just crazy. Kind of, we said before, you wake up in your third world country, like how a country can really get brought to its knees. We're in crazy times right now.
Yeah, well, I think like when all this went down, China flew in like thousands of solar panels and stuff, right?
Yep.
And I think unwittingly what's going to happen is these guys are just going to get off of oil, right? And they'll become an electrified country.
Yeah.
All those 1950s cars that they have, they'll put electric motors in them all.
I was watching this guy who was actually taking water and some batteries and some toses, really crudely made, and making the motorcycle run off water, making hydrogen.
Yeah, like a water wheel.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. But they're like, well, what's the bad effect? He's like, it can explode. They're like, what do you mean? And he like picked up this little dipstick, and it like popped like a firecracker, and he was like, hydrogen. And it was like, what? But it was kind of crazy. But yeah,
well,
I don't know. I just don't think any country right now wants to be stuck in a World War III. It just never ends, right? So it's not good for anyone.
Well, and I mean, it's more likely going to be like a slow war, right? It won't be, oh, let's send 10,000 troops your way and you send 10,000 troops our way. We meet in the middle and we start shooting. It's just going to be like ongoing conflict forever, right? As opposed to
North Korea.
Yeah, especially like there's not going to be a battlefield, right? It's just going to be, oh, we're having a conflict over here. Now it's over there. And I don't know. It's just the world's dumb. The world is full of dumb people, right? We all deserve to be exterminated because we do dumb things. But
so I know we normally don't talk politics, but the only reason I brought it up is because it's directly affecting the economy as a whole, and not just a single country, a global economy. They said the United States hasn't been this in debt since World War II. Like, it's changing. Like things are drastically changing. So people are going to start getting creative in this side hustle. I think that you might see these type of videos peak up because people who maybe think that they didn't need a secondary income or they didn't need something. You can only tighten the ship so much, right?
Well, I mean, the U.S. right now has the highest inflation in the G7. So
yeah,
people are going to do other things, right? And like I did a while back, I think probably right towards the end of last year, I did a video on, how makers survive in a recession. And a couple of people said, "Hey, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this video?" And it's like, you'll see, right? Like, it's going to happen.
You realize we're not in a recession. Yeah. So if you're interested in getting in a side hustle, this is the first time you're watching us, and you're interested in any lasers, 3D printers, CNCs, DTF, print, anything. We do it all, kind of, and collectively, even as well as within the live, people are always willing to help. So that's what we're here for. So people do join just in the camaraderie, just to talk. Happy hump day, as we say, de-stress, decompress, and say a couple of dad jokes. Otherwise, if you do have questions, we're always here to help. Where's Rat Dewey when speaking of dad jokes?
Heat stroke at 355 nanometers says, boiled lettuce, yum. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I read it. It's like, why would you even eat it at that point? It's just green goo.
Yeah. Chris, so we brought a new law so that data centers have to pay full retails for utilities or pay their own utility supply. So
yeah, they should.
So I think they're trying to do that, right? Because the way that it works is that power is state and federally funded in the United States. So no matter what power company you have, you're only allowed to charge a certain percentage above cost, right? But the problem is a data center goes into whatever territory and tells them, hey, we're building this facility, so we need X amount of power, right? So then that power company says, okay, the infrastructure to give you that power is going to cost $147 million. Well, guess what happened? Your electric bill, as long as you live in that state, just went up to cover the cost of that. And I don't think that's right. Like, because, if you build a house, right, any utility company is responsible to bring the utility to your building or to your house, right? Once it reaches your house or your place of business, inside the building is your responsibility, right? And that's okay for a house, right? Because really, reality, how much cost is it for some of them to bring it from a pole, area or underground to your house? It's not that far. And matter of fact, if it's an extended trip as a residential or small commercial, they'll make you pay for it. But yet these large corporations, because they're going to make millions of dollars off them, they literally just cover the cost of the infrastructure, which I don't think is right. I think that if that company is going to make $16 billion this year, they can cover the cost of their own electric infrastructure. I think that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be directly affected on the people around you.
I mean, to build a new data center, it should be net neutral right from the get-go. If it costs, if it draws a dime of power off the grid, there's something wrong. And the water issue is another problem.
Yeah, the water should be, they have to get water from somewhere, right? So I think initially they should.
Why? They could do closed loop cooling. They don't have to. They do it with water because it's cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look at what was the CEO of Nestle, he said that water is not a God-given right, and everyone doesn't deserve to have water. And it was like, are you serious?
What?
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
Unless it's in a bottle that we own.
yeah, that's kind of crazy for somebody to even say that. Prison Friend said, hello. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining. McPhil 3D said, wonder if Steve had any new 3D printers yet. I think he mentioned. Go ahead, Tate.
Yeah. Well, I said I think he mentioned expected a new one that was going to be different. Yes, I have a new one. It's different, and that's all I can say about it right now. It's all I'll say is it has no belts.
Okay,
it's very cool.
TTC 1940 said, "Better late than never." Yeah, thank you for joining. Better late than never.
Chris says, "Good evening."
All right, here you go. Here's where I do it.
Oh, here we go.
You want to say?
He says it's weird being the same age as old people. Yeah, I have the same issue, right? It's like what the hell?
Yeah, it's crazy when I see some people that I went to high school with, that some of them look like so much older than I do, and it's like, man, you look old.
It's a good life.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it is, not saying racial, but being brown skinned And if you're in the sun a lot, I think that our skin ages better than if you have a lighter skin and you're in the sun a lot, right? And when you have a lot of wrinkles,
look at
ages
me.
you.
I'm 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tim's telling Phil that he tripped over at least 3 3D printers in my shop when he was here on the weekend.
That's hilarious.
No, he didn't trip over any. There were 3 he could have tripped over, but he didn't trip over them.
Chris said, I just hate it when I see an old person that I went to school with. Exactly. My my son says, Dad, how was it in the olden days? I'm like, what do you mean the olden days? Yeah, that's crazy. Like he's seen
back in black and white.
He's seen a payphone. He was like so freaked out, It's one thing for him to even see anybody with a house phone. That's weird to him. But a payphone, he was like beside himself. Yeah, he thought that was so awesome.
Yeah, get yourself a rotary phone.
Yeah, I'm not even sure they'd work, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think they work anymore. But my father had one for years, and it was an interesting experience watching my son when he was trying to phone home, and he looked at the dial on the phone and was like completely frozen. It's like, how do you dial this thing? I said, it actually has a dial.
Literally. Well, I remember the phone numbers, right? It was 4 numbers, right? And then the 6, and then you'd only dial the area code. It was outside the area code, and then it was always the area code. So numbers.
Yeah,
it's great.
Well, even when I was a kid, a North American phone number is without the area code is 7 digits. Well, when I was a kid, you only had to dial the last 5. So the 4 digits plus whatever the last number in the exchange was. And then they said, well, we got too many phones now. Now you have to dial all 7 numbers. And you should have heard people complaining about this. I mean, this is back in the early 70s. But
Prison Prince said, Rick, did you get my email on the color reel? I did not. So I've just been really slammed at work right now. But just been crazy at home. So this weekend my basement will be back together. So next week you should see my videos back in my wood shop, not in the print shop. Not that it matters, but just so you know. But I'll take a look today after the live.
So
sorry I missed that.
So we'll see the fake background of your CNC instead of the fake background of your UV DTF printer.
It's not very impressive looking right now. I tell you that much. My ceiling is still not put up, and just things are kind of pushed to one side because it was cleaning up the floor, and it looks bad.
Man,
looks like a hoarder convention. Radu said, back in my day, we had 9 planets.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Gordon said, when I was a kid, we had party lines. I remember those. You'd meet a lot of girls on those.
When I was young, we lived in the city, but then we moved to I'll say the country, and we had a party line when we first moved there for 2 years.
That's cool.
No, it wasn't cool at all.
It was cool. Chris said they're arguing the planetoids get the same results as planets, so Pluto might get the status back. There you go. TTC 1940 said, do you remember 2 people on the phones, 3-way calls?
2-party phone lines.
How about if you were using the internet, you couldn't even use the phone? How about that?
Yeah, we had. So keep in mind, Jim is older than both of us, so he'll remember. But I think the party line we had was there was five houses on it, and it was. I mean, you couldn't get a phone call that was confidential. Somebody was always listening.
Yeah. Prison Prince said in the old days in Chicago we had 312 for the actual city. Everyone else had 847. Now Chicago area has 20 area codes. Yeah, you got 312 for this city, 773 for the city, right? I think some on the burbs was 331. Then you got a whole lot of other burbs numbers, but yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, area codes don't really matter anymore, right? It's just with digital dialing,
right?
It's just a decoration now.
Yeah, so Al Capone used to hang out in a city called Warrenville a lot, which was in the suburbs, because AT&T had their first a mosquito. First phone lines in that area. So when he'd come out of the city to hide, he'd go to Warrenville to use the phone, which is kind of funny. Jack in the shop said, hey guys, how's it going? TTC said 1940 Prison Print, where are you located? It said the old days when you had to plug cords in the switchboard to connect the call.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
So I have a question, guys. We're obviously, what creative measures or what's something that you're doing differently to combat this economy? Are you offering more services? Are you offering less services? Are you raising your prices? Are you marketing different? What's something you're doing differently that you haven't done before? Just curious, guys. Let us know. Steve, is there anything you want to share that you've done differently?
Well, right now, shipping to the U.S. is a bit of a challenge for us. So I guess it's a challenge for everybody to ship something to you, but it's too much paperwork. So I just don't bother unless it's going to be some big contract of some sort.
Yeah.
And it's not even because, I have to do work. It's because if I sell you something that's worth $1, you're going to pay $2 for it. Like, it's crazy by the time you get it. So that one kills
One thing
me.
I'm doing differently is I sell a lot on Facebook Marketplace, but I never shipped ever. And it was because whenever I would share something on Facebook, it almost always sold like right away.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't make massive quantities of anything, right? I'd make something which be gone. I'd make something else be gone. But to kind of broaden my horizon, so to speak, I started offering shipping, and that's doing well for me so far. But I think that it makes it easier for people to trust you because it's kind of like it's going through Facebook. So they have the sense security net that, like, if you they're not going to get robbed or cheated, they have a way that they feel secure. So maybe that helps too.
Yeah, Tim and I were, when he was over on the weekend, he was having this discussion about he likes to get contracts where he's making 50 of something. I'm like, yeah, I just want to make one. Right? It's like, I can make 50 things and make $2 profit on them, or I can make one thing and make $200 profit.
So I had a golf country club. They want me to make these. I mentioned the other week about those cups that are kind of burnt inside already.
Yeah.
I told them the price
cups or something, right?
Yeah, I told them the price, and they didn't kind of really like the price. It was pretty high. And I says, "You're ordering 2. Like,
yeah,
I'm doing all this artwork. We got to do some trial. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff in there. You didn't say 300. You said 2. No, I'm not saying that I don't think that you won't come back as long as I do a good job and order more. But I can't invest all this time in doing all this stuff for 2 cups. You're gonna pay." And they were like,
yeah,
okay. As long as this is what this is, like, we're going back and forth to make sure we get a concept of a proven product we like, and that's what that upfront cost is. And then going forward, there's no additional cost. We're okay with that.
Yeah, we talk about pricing a lot, and pricing is a good shield when you're a maker, right? Because if somebody says, "Hey, I want you to make this," and you look at it and go, "Yeah, I don't want to make any of those," so you quote some ridiculously high price, right? And they go, "No, it's too expensive." Okay, see ya.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you'll quote some high price, and they'll go, "Yeah, okay." It's like, damn it, I don't want to make one at all.
So when I was younger, I used to do a lot of car audio, and I made 350Zs. Everyone thought they were just like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I made one speaker box for somebody, and I wish I never did it. Like, he was just such a pain in the ass, and they had this like wing in the back. All this, it was just, you had to be really, there's pitches and angles on the trunk. It was, you had to be really precise, right? And it was so precise and to fit, it was almost hard to get in, right? So you had to have a little wiggle room, but not too much, but it was almost possible to fit, man. But anyways, so one person would see it and then they'd come back. And every time somebody'd ask me, I would raise the price higher and higher. So I didn't want to wake them. And it's just like you just said, Steve, you're like,
yeah,
it's kind of high. I'm like, well, go somewhere else, dude. That is a pain in the ass. I don't even want to do it.
Yeah, and that's I typically refer to it as the annoyance tax. asking me to do something that's going to annoy the crap out of me. So here's the price. It's 10 times what a normal person would pay for something I want to do.
Right. Is that a system? No, that's just a box, man.
Yeah, but every once in a while, someone would say, "Yeah, okay." And it's like, damn it.
Yeah. Sanders Living Grayson said, along those same lines, the mail used to come in a rural route. Well, my address is still that way. And I asked someone one time, because in front of my house, I have 2 signs besides my address. And I says, what is this? And I said, well, back in the day, rural addresses, it would be, so the mailman knew where to go. It was like 2, which is like the Duries, where from Chicago, and so many miles north. So mine was like, so many miles north of wherever that demarc was that they were using for the central. So north and so many miles from that. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's how they.
For many years, my parents' house was RR3.
Yeah. So I still have my address, and then I have another address the fire department uses, which I guess is our true rural address.
Yeah, your civic address. Yeah, this is why they had to get rid of rural routes, right? Because 911 service couldn't find anybody. Because like you didn't even have a house number at that point. It was just you on some rural route, and they just knew who you were. Like you had your name on the mailbox, and
right. My house is kind of crazy because I have a decent amount of property, and sometimes the GPS doesn't bring you to my driveway; it brings you to the back of my property. And they're like, "How do you get in?" I'm like, "Where are you at?" Like, I can see a fence, and I'm like, "Oh, dude,
some field."
Yeah, it's fenced off. You can't get in that way. That is my property. You got to come around the other side. But yeah. Heat Stroke at 35 said, true story. A friend of mine went to high school in Courtney Cox. Picture from their 30-year class reunion looked like cast of friends visiting from a nursing home. That's great. They're getting old, man. Getting old.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Jack in the Shop said, I'm optimizing ads. So are you using Facebook ads?
Yeah, like AI optimization, or?
I definitely do that with all my listings. I built a string that I purely use for my Facebook listings, and I say optimize this, optimize the title, optimize the description, and give me the hashtags that I should use, and then I refine it, and then I make it give me a final score. And most of the time, what I write is about an 8 point something, and most of the time, by the time I'm done, the final evaluation is like a 9 point something. So. No. Prism Prince said, I currently live in the Chicago area, originally from here, because I now live in South Carolina. I'm just here for the summer. Nice.
He went to Chicago for the summer because it's cooler.
I think going up here to take care of some family business. Come some property up here and clearing out some houses.
Yeah, I worked with a guy who lived in Texas, just outside Austin, and he had a summer place here, like 20 miles from my place.
That's still hot in Texas.
Yeah, well, because he said, and I said, why do you do that? He said, well, because in Texas in the summertime it's like 120 all the time. And he said, so in New Brunswick, which is where his cottage was, he said, it's a modest 80 degrees.
He probably goes back home in the winter. Yeah. Radu, he said, remember having milk delivery guys?
Yes.
They still do that in my area. You can get Oberweis.
You can get home delivery still?
Yeah.
Wow, you really are in the third world.
Oberweis is like a big old school dairy farm.
Yeah, it's interesting that all of those things are coming back, and now they call them things like Uber Eats and
right.
Yeah, we had when I was a kid, we had the milk truck drove by every day and would take your empty milk bottles and put new ones on your step, and on the back of his truck it said, "Don't cry, baby, I'll be back."
That's awesome. I tell you what though, I don't care what brand milk you drink. There's no comparison. There's zero comparison to Oberweis. Anything Oberweis. I mean, milk, butter, ice cream. I don't know if it's because it's like fresh, it's like, less preservatives. I don't know what it is, but there's just no comparison. I don't really like milk, to be honest with you. Maybe the dunk cookies, eat some cereal. You don't
Yeah,
really drink milk.
milk is only good if it comes in the shape of ice cream.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't like even cereal. I don't put milk on cereal.
You just don't eat cereal, or you drink it with water?
I don't drink it with anything. I drink it with coffee, not on the cereal, but it's like handful of cereal, drinking coffee. Well, no, milk bothers me a bit, so I just don't drink it that much.
Oh, okay. Jack in the Shot should starting to work more business to business stuff. Yeah. So again, people just feel free to share. Just really just questioning, what things are you doing differently in this economy, and is it working? Or even share what's something that you tried that failed or you didn't see a return on. I've been seeing a lot of this lately, and I'm not sure. Like, I'll be honest. I open my mailbox, and for the most part, I can just go straight to my kitchen and throw it straight in the trash because most of my bills are auto pay. Right. So what do I? Even if it is a bill, like I don't mail anyone a check anymore. Right. Like my life insurance policy, I must get 3 letters a week from them. Like, how much money is this costing me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why do you mail me so much stuff? So I've been seeing these things now. It's $199 a month for unlimited postcards. And you can go into the USPS's, they have like a database, I guess, and you pay like this fee, which is really small. And you can click on a demographic area and it'll give you the addresses for all of them. And then you say, hey, I want to use this area. And then they'll mail postcards. But again, anytime I really get anything like that in the mail, I kind of just throw away. Do you actually look through the junk mail in your mail? Do you get junk mail?
I don't. Well, I mean, I'm the same way. Almost every bill. Well, every bill I have is electronic, and anything I get in my actual mailbox is a flyer of some sort, or just junk mail in general.
Yeah. So when I was a lineman in the field, since I'd be working like 100 hours a week, I had my mailman one time come to my door and say, hey, when the hell you got to empty your mailbox? I can't even put mail in there. So what are you talking about? And I went in the mailbox. It was so full. And I said to my wife, when the hell's the last time you checked the mail? It was like, so I could put any more mail in there. Like, what the heck?
I mean, anything I get is probably a package of some sort. And they'll leave, if it's usually big, so it won't fit in the parcel box in the mailboxes. So it'll just be a card in my mailbox to say go to the post office. Now the post office is 2 minutes from me. It's right around the corner. I could walk there, but it's like I wouldn't notice if they took my mailbox away. I probably wouldn't notice.
Packages they leave on my front door. The mail they leave at the extra mailbox. TTC 1940 said, I'm in Joliet. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, I'm in Oswego, so we're not far at all from each other. If you are in Joliet, you got to check out my sister pizzeria. It's called Nico's Pizzeria or Nico's Catering in Joliet, Illinois. You got to check them out, guys. She's got some bomb everything. Greek food, Italian food, Mexican food. Good. And she owns a couple of what are they called, banquet halls. So if you guys are looking to do some big banquets, look up Nico's. Here you go, Steve.
Jim says, is your background real? Yeah, it's as real as it gets. Pure 100% pixels. Yeah. Here, maybe I can cast a shadow here. Hang on. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
I actually see the little selection thing on the photo there, the little dots in the center, which are normally behind my head.
That's funny.
There we go. Went away.
Chris said I only do business to business or items on request.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'd say about 90% of my business is with other businesses.
The only thing, to be honest with you, that I kind of make without having any customer in mind is my challenge coins, because I make batches. But I think to me that's in my favor, right? Because I say there's 10 of these, that's it. So it kind of makes like a sense of urgency, a
limited edition.
Exactly. So I think that's my But when it comes to those jack-o'-lanterns, make fun of me all you want. Those jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween, I can sell as many as I can make. But like you said, Steve, sometimes you're like, I'm done. Like I don't want to do it. You know, you like just get like burnt out. You know.
I have a couple of CNC jobs I've been putting off for a long time, and I have to get them done. But it's like the reason I don't want to do them is just because they're big batches of the same old thing, and it's
So I immediately said that I've only used my CNC for those plastic signs, right? And my cousin have to make some stuff for memorial for his father passing, and so definitely going to be learning stuff new on the CNC, which is going to be cool. So I'm going to do some combined inlay slate flush inlays with a laser engraved picture, and then do the multi-dimension 3 different layers.
You should actually be able to cut slate. Slate's pretty soft. I mean, you can cut aluminum with your CNC carbide bits.
Yeah,
or brass.
I got it dialed in with the laser. It just burn, it'll pop it out, and I know it turns out perfect, flawless. So,
but you should also be able to cut designs out of slate. You get like big plates of slate.
Yeah. So beyond, since I have the 8,000, I think I have like 10,000 slate coasters that I bought like 2 years ago. I sand them completely smooth. And then I laser engrave it, and I do that as an inlay in the box, and it looks amazing. Yeah. Jack in the shop said, I just turned down a custom lamp build. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't turn that down.
It all depends what they're willing to pay you, right? Not everyone understands.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? It's again back to the annoyance tax. If you don't want to do it, then you just charge a lot. Sometimes they say yes, and you make a lot of money. You hate what you're doing, but you still make money.
150, no problem. Deposit. What? $150 deposit? $1,500. Yes. Damn it.
Yeah, it's $150 unless he says yes, and then you go, well, that's the deposit. The other half is due when I'm finished.
Yeah, there you go. New tactic, guys. So you learned it here first.
Tony says, Steve, did you get a color mixing chart for your making filament? I have a few from Creality, but for the most part, I only make generally 2 kinds of filament for the most part. I make white, well, 3, I guess. I make white, black, because I use a ton of those, and then scrap, right? So take all the recycled filament, and it always makes some weird color of like. I
was gonna say, so what is the
some sort.
Okay, so you have no clue. You just throw it in there, and it is what it is.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you're just grinding up a bunch of random prints, sometimes it's a bunch of blue, and then you throw a red in there, and all of a sudden you get a bunch of purpley stuff, and so. But you don't care because that stuff is either for prototyping or infill, where you're never going to see it. So
my kids, they had this crayon maker growing up, and they take all the broken crayons and melt crayons and make new crayons. Well, when we ran out of crayons to make, my son decided he was going to break brand new crayons. I'm like, stop! What are you doing? Because it was like a fun thing we do, Oh, we have a bunch of new ones. What do you mean we have a bunch of new broken crayons? I just found these. No, you didn't. You just broke a bunch of crayons.
Yeah, and in an unrelated note, we need new crayons.
Exactly. But you know what? It was pretty cool though when you would do that, like you said, how you mentioned the colors. You took all blues, it makes it weird, and you throw a green in there or throw a red in there. It actually made some pretty cool looking colors.
Yeah, like I mean, if you wanted to do other, like I said, I make mostly white and black for production kind of stuff. But if you want to do other colors, you can buy master batch that is the color you want. Like there are companies that will make master batch for the color you want. Nice. And then you don't have to worry. You can still just make white and black and throw in a bunch of whatever purple color you decided you wanted, and it'll make just endless rolls of purple filament.
Yeah, I was so frustrated when my 3D printer finally went down, and like that week I ordered like a ton of film,
Yeah, did you not get that fixed yet?
No, I haven't had my basement fixed yet, so it's actually kind of boxed in with with all my ceiling in front of it, stacked in front of it. So I will this weekend. It's just been bland, but I'm wearing people's patience, so I don't want to make people upset me. So I will get it done. I've been just crazy. Santa's Living Great said, if you use that tactic, you need to know their bank account. We designed, says building log cabins, and that was a pain to work with. Priced the garage $30,000 more, and he wrote the check. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, this is why if you want to sell to individuals, make sure they're rich.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Because you can charge them more.
TTC 1940 said, since my middle name is Glass, I have questions regarding flat glass. Is the setting pretty much the same if it's window glass? Or basically, he wants to know if a different type of glass will have different type of settings.
Yeah, so Jim, you'll have to experiment. It's the same old thing, right? Run a material test, because if it's regular like window glass, there's all kinds of impurities in it. Like they don't make any attempt to make window glass pure in any way. Decanter glass tends to be lead crystal. Well, not so much anymore, but you'll find a lot of lead crystal glass. But it tends to be crystal, so it's more like K9. And yeah, award glass could be anything. Sometimes it's crystal, sometimes it's the cheapest glass they can put in a box. Yeah. You just have to experiment.
Yeah, that's why I would say personally, if I was making anything glass related on a regular basis, I'd try to find a supplier that I liked and stick with them, right? Because if you're changing all different suppliers all the time, that could be, oh God, a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm sure Jim can resound, and I really doubt his middle name is Glass, but because he's trying to do a lot of engraved wine glasses and stuff, and it's just such a pain to work with glass. And I believe, Jim, I suggested at the beginning that it was going to be hard, and you did it anyway. I applaud your brevity, right? Like sometimes you have to experiment, and the way you learn a lot of times is you get a few scars. So it's glass is just too hard to work with, so I tend not to bother. Like awards are not so bad because it's a big meaty piece of glass, but a wine glass can be a millimeter thick on the sides, and you stress it thermally in any way and it's going to crack.
I told you I was last week, I was so stuck on wanting to get that UV laser, and when I just saw the struggle, I said, it's not a top priority for me. It's eventually for me. I just have too much stuff to go on. I don't have time for that big of a learning curve, or I don't have time to dedicate it to right now. If I got anything added new to my shop, it had to be something hit the ground running.
A lot of it depends on the laser, right? Like we mentioned this last week, right? If you've got like an xTool F2 Ultra UV or the We Create Lumos Ultra, I think it is, they have settings for glass that work.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really have to screw around too much. But if you're, like Jim's a bit in the barren wasteland because he doesn't have a set of materials charts to work with, right? And
you're building that library.
And it's a hard and expensive way to do things because you're gonna wreck a lot of things before you finally get it right, and then you're one bad day away from it all going sideways again, right? And this is, I think, the hell that Jim has been living in for the last little while, trying to do these.
Good luck, man. Good luck, brother. I know. Yeah, he's definitely been commenting a lot in the lives and having problems.
Yeah, I mean, on the plus side, he's becoming an expert on things.
Yes, he's going to be able to have a course. Pay $2,000 for this course. You don't want to pay it? That's fine. You'll figure it out in 2 years.
Well, yeah, that's maybe that's potential. Yeah.
There you go. Chris said we had milk trucks, bread vans, fruit and delivery trucks. I think they could be valuable again these days. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I think all this stuff's going to come back.
Yeah, it's funny.
I think the supply chain, like the big supply chain that big grocery stores use, I think is going to fall apart, and then you'll rely on these kind of businesses to do this stuff for you.
I think you're going to see that bartering thing too. I mean, like I have horseradish. I don't make anything with it. I take the horseradish, I give it to my neighbors. They use something. They come back and they give me 2 dozen eggs. Right. Another one of my neighbors, my wife makes jelly, homemade jelly from the grapes on our property. And she gives it to them, and they'll come back and they'll give us money, pickles and just like all kinds of things. This lady, my wife refuses to can because she says that like you can basically kill somebody if you really don't know what you're doing. But people love to buy our veggies to can them. I don't know, but yeah. People are into that.
Yeah, and I mean it's so governments hate when you don't move money, right? Because that's what keeps the economy actually cycling. But it's going to come to that, right? You want something, like even as makers, right? You want me to make you something. Well, you got chickens. Give me eggs for a year or something. Well, maybe not in the States because your eggs are like $12 a dozen. But have they come down now? Eggs?
No. They're still outrageous.
Wow.
Yeah. They're still outrageous.
They're cheap here, but I think it's going to get like that, right? It'll be, you want me to make you something. What have you got? What have you got to trade?
Yeah, and honestly, like I love bartering. Like I love bartering.
And I think more and more, if what you have to trade is some moonshine from your still, so I can drive my car. Well, not my car is electric, but people who are looking at paying, a few dollars for a gallon of gas are I'll burn moonshine instead.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally seen Facebook ads like that now. Chainsaw for sale. Don't really use it. Want to sell to buy a go-kart for my son. If you got a go-kart, I'll just trade you the go-kart. You know what I mean?
They're kind of putting it out there, aren't they?
Yeah. Right, I'm selling this to buy this, but if you had this, I'll just trade you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And both parties are happy. They get what they want and win-win. So kind of cool. Chris said, "Yep, forgot about the Iceman."
Yeah, I have no recollection of Iceman.
Yeah, I used to watch that when I lived in Canada. The cartoon Chilly Willy. Remember that cartoon?
Yeah,
it's a little penguin.
Yeah. So Tim says CRA, which is Canada Revenue Agency. It's basically the people who send us pension checks and tax bills. They still use mail, unfortunately. Dread the brown envelope. Yeah. Here, so our postal service loses like $1 billion a year, but it's been deemed an essential service because the government, according to law, has to use a government managed delivery system to deliver things like your pension check, if you still get a check, or your tax bills and stuff. So that's why it still exists. Otherwise it would be, if private industry owned it, it would cost you $10 to mail a letter.
Right. Chris said, yep, our post office still gets paid to deliver junk mail. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing really that comes in my mailbox.
Yeah.
TTC 1940 said, Rick, what are you using for your challenge coins? So I have a 30-watt fiber laser and I have a 60-watt MOPA. I can make them on both. However, if I had a choice, I would prefer to make them on the 60-watt. I only prefer to make them on a 60-watt, not that it's saving me so much time engraving deeper faster. I like the 60-watt because it's a MOPA, and I can go in the higher frequency ranges and do a better cleaning pass.
I mean, I've made quite a few challenge coins too, and every time I make one, I go, wow, did I actually make money on this thing? Because I mean, your laser is going to be running for at least an hour, and then you've got a bunch of processing time to do, and it's like, and then you're going to charge what? What do you charge? Like $60?
No less than $35. No less than 35. 35.
Yeah, so you take off the fact that the coin cost $10 probably. Like, how can you make money, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
in your case, you're probably making them for like the linemen and stuff, right? You're doing it for
all my challenge coins are military or linemen, so
yeah,
they hit home a little deeper, right? So
yeah.
And
Anyway, that's the struggle I have, and I mean, I've made them. Like I made some for some French movie production company for some movie recently, and it was a cool project, but I looked at it and went, yeah, I didn't really make much on that.
Yeah, no, I made there was a Marine ball, I think in Wisconsin, something like they do these big parties, and I made 200 something coins for that. That was cool. You know, they came up with their design they wanted on that. That's cool. My neighbor's a Marine. My brother-in-law's a Marine. A lot of fans are Marine, so they came from my daughter's graduation party. I gave them some of those Marine coins, so that was kind of cool. But at the end of the day, would I make a bunch of Marine coins and put online to sell? I don't know if I'd get in trouble.
Right.
You know, because it is a registered trademark, but it's different when I'm making it actually for the Marines, right? They're having a ball or having something. I think the Marines will leave me alone if they're the ones that ask me to make it. And the same thing with the union. I have permission from my union to make stuff. And every time I make something for the union, guess what I do? I mail the president, my local representative in the state of Illinois. He gets one in the mail, and I normally get one of these on Facebook.
Thumbs up. Money.
No, it's like a thumbs up. He gets his seal of approval, you know, like it's cool, you know.
Yeah.
And I sent him some coins, and that's, you know, because people said, "How the hell how'd you be able to do that?" Well, I gotta ask, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, like even here, I mean, I've made a few military type challenge coins for like vets and stuff, right? Air Force and Army and whatnot, and I mean, I generally don't even sell them to these guys. It's like, yeah, you serve the country, here you go, right? So, but even if I was charging, I don't think I'd make money on them.
Yeah, when I made those Marines, and I had made extras just in case, you know, when I was buffing it, anything, I made extras just in case. And then when I did that, I used to keep one in my left pocket all the time. And whenever I run into somebody and they end up being a Marine, I just give it to them. You know, they're like, oh, that's so cool, you know, but I ran out. But I just did that with all the leftovers, just gave them away. But I get asked quite often, can I lower the price? And I don't think, Steve, that people understand how much work goes into a challenge coin. And
yeah,
it's not.
I mean, people usually have seen video of coins being made in like a coin press, right? And it's like chunk and it's done. That's not how it works in the laser world, right? You're
right.
It's not 2 seconds. It's 2 hours sometimes, and
right.
And you know, people don't appreciate that. So
yeah, so I'm flat out. I refuse to drop the price. That's the price, and it is what it is.
Maybe it's time to get a coin press, and then all you have to do is the laser engrave of the die.
I wonder how much that actually costs.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm surprised nobody's asked me to review one yet, because there's some weird
There you
stuff.
go, guys. We've made a ton of challenge coins. Anyone out there makes print presses for these coins, you're interested in having this made?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched videos on people who make coin presses. It's doable. You can make them. But it's, I don't know, just doesn't excite me.
Yeah.
Jim says he delivered 100 pens and 50 car coasters to an insurance company yesterday and picked up an order for 50 metal business cards. Well, you know, there's business.
The metal business cards, I even thought about doing them for myself because they're cheap. But the only problem I had with them is, like, how do you like carry them or like have them, because they scratch? You can't even have them touch each other.
Yeah, so the metal blanks that I use come in their own little individual plastic wrappers. So, I mean, it's not like I keep 20 of them in my wallet, because I use the 0.8 millimeter thick ones, so they're pretty hefty. Right. But, I mean, if I'm going somewhere where I know I might potentially have to give one out, I do it. And, I mean, the only reason I have metal ones is because, hey, it's laser engraving. You better have something that's laser engraved to give them, right? Well, here's a card. So
there you go.
it's just good marketing. That's all.
Prison Print said we get crayons put between the wax paper and put a hot iron over them, melted them down flat, making cool random designs. Did whatever. Did you ever do that?
Yeah, you can. It's like tie dye with wax crayons.
When I was in Canada, someone taught me we would color on paper, like a coloring book, and then they took the paper that you colored and you stuck it over the stove, and it slightly melted the crayon, so it almost looked like marker. It was like completely smooth, and you couldn't feel the crayon anymore, and it changed the color a little bit. When I came back to the States, I showed people that, and it was like, oh my god.
I would do the same thing, and I'm here. I never did anything like that.
You're like, that's so cool. Chris, I only use K9 rated glass, so I know what settings work and won't shatter.
Yeah, keep in mind, Chris, that a lot of things that are advertised as K9 crystal are actually not. Because people, they're in that race to the bottom. They're trying to find the cheapest glass they can, and you'll see things that are advertised as K9, and you shine a UV light through it, and the whole thing lights up like a
Just remember, everything from the Dollar Tree is definitely K9.
Yeah. So you just have to be careful. That's all. I mean, I do think that legit K9 crystal is going to drop in price a lot. It has already, and the availability is much higher now than it was even a year ago. But there are still people out there selling just complete garbage.
Yeah, there's always going to be knockoffs, and you're never going to stop that.
Yeah. But you can test it before you buy it.
You want to take this, Steve?
Tim says, the only UV engraved glass I enjoy doing is the inner engravings. xTool made it so simple. Yeah, Tim was a cockpit 3D user. And I know a couple of weeks ago, he was trying to do something. And I said, why don't you just use the internal engraving AI service that's built into xTool Studio? And it's like, well, there you go. It does the same thing as cockpit, but it's free.
I haven't used any of the built-in AI stuff for Bamboo Labs. I see that in Maker on the app. I'm just so busy whenever I'm doing something, but once in a while, I was just
I for anything I print on with a 3D printer, like an FDM type printer, it's usually a part of something that has to fit together. So I don't use AI for that to do any of that kind of design. Tim says, anyone been playing with Atom? Atom is xTool's equivalent of Maker World.
Okay.
Plus a bunch of other services. There's a bunch of things in there. It started turning into a game changer. No extra subscription for halftone apps, file conversion apps, etc. Yeah, it's what I use all the time, because almost all my printers now are xTool printers, or lasers, and I just use the services they provide.
Yeah, what I started noticing a lot too is in the Bamboo Makers app is all this laser stuff. The library is growing.
Yeah,
it's definitely growing.
Yeah, and I'll point out that Bamboo doesn't have a laser.
Yes, they do.
Bamboo?
Yes.
Well, they have the one that's built into their printers, right. But that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff for something that's built into a 3D printer.
Yeah, man. Well, it's growing their Maker library, whatever.
I mean, the library is huge. Like almost anything you could ever want is in there. Like to the point where a lot of I spend half my day with 3D CAD designing things, and a lot of times I'll go, oh, I need one of these, and I'll just go to Maker World and grab one. I won't bother trying to design one.
Not even worth it because someone already did all the legwork. Yeah, it's crazy. I guess if you're the rat race, but in most cases, that's not the case, right? Yeah. Chris said, for my custom requests, I try to barter before money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Keeps Big Brother out of the picture.
Yes.
Jim says, great idea. It will be available September 1st, 2030.
There you go. Get it
That's
going.
his tutorial video.
NAS.
Yeah.
No as a service.
Yeah. Not software as a service. No as a service.
That's what Steve's OnlyFans says. Not as a service. He doesn't make house calls.
No. Chris says one of my lines when people ask for cheaper prices is would they stay in their job if their boss lowered their hourly rate by 20%? My favorite is always when people say, you know, when you make something or you give somebody a price on something, and they'll go, "Oh, I can buy it at Walmart for $10." Right? Oh, yeah, okay, get to Walmart. They close at 9.
The only thing I ever make that no one ever asked me to lower the price is anything Memorial.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean there's market and that's one of the reasons I do B2B stuff, because they have a problem and they need you to solve it. They don't care how much it costs.
I think that's a Vanilla Ice song. That's one of the lines that is one of his songs.
Yeah. See, now we're talking about, you know, back in black and white times, you know, before color.
We all know that Steve was a Vanilla Ice fan back in the day. He just flowed out.
Yeah.
He just flowed out one of his songs. We'll have to make that a short with Steve singing Vanilla Ice song, and then clip in the Vanilla Ice.
So Jim says his laser business cards are 1.5 millimeters thick. Wow, they must be pretty sturdy. A great handout, and they do not scratch. Yeah, I do find so the cheapy 3D or the cheapy metal business cards are painted, so it's like the fact that it's thin is irrelevant, but it's thin, but it's painted. When you get into some of these thicker cards, like the reason I use these 0.8 ones is because they're anodized, they're not painted. So I mean, it's right in the metal, right? It's not going to scratch.
So are they almost like a matte versus a gloss?
Yeah, they tend to be more like gunmetal type look.
And then it won't scratch as much. It'll be a little more durable.
It's hard as hell. Like it's so.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah, 1.5 millimeter business card. Where are you even finding those? Because I always look for things that are a little bit thicker, and I'm stuck to.
Ordinary Woodworker said, "Hello all from WA. Only listening today because I'm setting up my new shop in North Washington State. Thank you for joining." And see, I say this all the time to people that then they ask, "Why am I reading the comments?" They can see them as well, because there's a lot of people who may not have the ability to watch. They're just listening, or they are watching, but they're watching on the TV. It's funny, the more and more you look at the algorithm, you see people watching YouTube on TV versus on their phone or a computer.
Yeah, it's about 30% probably on my
TV.
channel. No, 30% television. It's still probably 38% on computers, and then the rest is cell phones. Watching any maker channel on a cell phone, I mean, unless you're lost in the wilderness somewhere, it's not the right format for anything on a maker channel. But
well, I'm going to make a comment, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to hear Steve say "told you so." But when you looked at the age group who watched my channel and the content, like that 18 through whatever, that first group
18 to 24, really, that first,
it was really like the lowest views, right?
Yeah.
And then the higher up is kind of like the most, right? I think 55 was probably like the bulk of my viewers. So probably, you're creating secondary income, or you're at the point you can probably afford some nice tools. So that's why you're looking, But at any rate, since I've been creating a lot of shorts, guess what is blowing up?
Yeah, well, but that's why, right? I mean, on long form videos, the 18 to 24 crowd is almost zero, right? It's because they don't have an attention span yet, so they watch TikTok.
Yeah.
And usually by the time they turn 25, it's like, well, there's got to be better things in life, so they develop a bit of an attention span and they start watching. I have the same thing on my channel. it peaks, like if you look at the bell curve there for age groups, it peaks around 55 to 64 is the big spike.
Yeah. But since I've been putting out just back-to-back shorts, I've been putting on a lot of long form content. I've been growing that younger, crowd. You want to take this one, Steve?
Sure, if I don't choke to death. Zentenro says, do you think xTool's rotary will be the best among UV printers? Yes. Can't say more than that. It's not, but the thing, and I gotta, when I do my Omni 1 video, you'll hear me say this. xTool isn't about the hardware. It's about the hardware working with software. Like,
easy.
This is, and people who are still using LightBurn, hugging it like it's the last tree in the forest, right?
You're Canadian. I thought you guys do that.
They don't understand. Like, they look at xTool Studio and they go, "Oh, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that." No, but it works, right? And it's easy. And xTool is building that experience. So the rotary is good, but the software that runs the rotary is amazing. And that's where they're going to kill everybody. Well, that's where they've been killing everybody.
The compliance, the compliancy, and all the bells and whistles that they add that would be proprietary into their software, right?
It's the fact that all of their software, or all of their products, not even lasers, all of their products run on xTool Studio. So a challenge coin is a good example, right? You can go to an F2 Ultra and you can engrave the coin. Then you can move it with the same project. You can move it to an Omni 1 and you can print color on the coin. And no one else does that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's all done in one project. Like, they have these multi-tool projects now.
So it wouldn't even be multi-file. It would actually be able to be a single file.
Yeah. Well, it's a single project. I don't know. We've got those files underneath it, but
layers or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. You create a new project and you say it's a multi-tool project. I'm using these tools.
That's cool.
And it says, okay, here's a tool path for the F2 Ultra. Here's a tool path for the Omni 1.
Yeah. You got to give them credit, though, for doing that. Like, that is a lot of money that they have to have invested in that software, in the continuous developing, when every other manufacturer just tends to fall on LightBurn, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Well, because it's, to some degree, LightBurn is the easy way out for a hardware company, right? But xTool is selling that Apple-like experience, right? Where you're selling an appliance. And if you want to take this even one step further, you got a big thick piece of brass, you can put it in the metal fab as the first step in that project. Cut out a coin, move it to the Ultra, engrave it, and then move it to the Omni 1 and print color on it.
So you can melt your beer cans, cut it out, make yourself a coin.
Well, yeah, maybe the Wonder Press. Yeah, maybe the Wonder Press will eventually melt beer cans to make aluminum metal plates.
Chris said 1.5 millimeter is not a business card. That's a shim. You can gap your spark plugs. There you go. Razor Ray said, "Hey, Razor Ray, when I give a price of 20 and the customer says you can't be better than that, I think it's a bit of response. Okay, 50. The thing is like, people have to understand you got to have a minimum, and I understand." It's like when you go to a tattoo artist, right? And you get something really small. They have $150 minimum, right? It's not their fault that you just decided you want a 3-leaf clover.
Yeah.
That's your problem.
Yeah, I think
gotta have a minimum too.
So one of the things I've done in the past is when people go, "Oh, if in this situation, even if I quoted 50 and they said, 'Oh, can you do 20?' Walk them around your shop and say, 'See that tool? That tool's $3,000. That tool's $10,000.' And just, and I have to eat too, right? So, they got to understand that it's not a $50 machine that you're working on here, right? So
yeah, absolutely. Big Sarge said, "Hey, all from Maine. Thank you for joining. Big Sarge, let us know if you have any questions." Looks like Big Sarge has a YouTube channel. I have to check him out. See,
Yeah, he does. He's done some putting like ink replacement for Eufy Make E1s.
Okay.
Kind of neat stuff.
Let's check you out, Big Sarge.
Maybe he'll do one for the Omni one at some point.
There you go. We'll see if maybe we get you one to live. Tim says, "Hey, Sarge."
Jim says BC came from
Chewbacca?
Chewbacca, USA made.
As in Star Trek, Chewbacca? Chewie? Is that who he's talking about?
Yeah.
Chewbacca?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's hairy guy from Star Wars. Big Sarge said, "I'm listening while editing a video. Just switched over to DaVinci Resolve. Steep learning curve. What video editing software do you use?" I use Adobe.
I'm DaVinci.
Yeah, I got the complete Adobe suite, so it's like it's all of them. I just pay a monthly cloud. I'm not happy about the cloud, but it is what it is.
Yeah, the thing with so with DaVinci, you can start for free, right? Like it does everything, but like if you wanted to build your own graphic that flies across the screen or something, you don't get that with the free one. But the thing with DaVinci is there are hundreds and hundreds of videos, tutorial videos, and their own documentation is really good as well.
Yeah.
I've been using DaVinci for, I don't know, 7 years.
Yeah, so the only thing that like Adobe is kind of a resource hog.
Yeah.
Like major. And sometimes like whenever you'd see my live blip once in a while, it's because in the background, even though I told it not to, it started updating, you know. And when I had the MacBook Pro, anything under that MacBook Pro, like it couldn't. It would either be like hours to export or just crash, right? So it's definitely a resource hog. It's a lot to run.
Yeah, DaVinci used to use a lot more resources than it does now. It seems to be better. Chris says, "Yep, xTool sells a solution," and I think, I mean, that's definitely what they're going for, right? They want to sell an answer to a question or a solution to a problem, right? It's not, you know, here's our laser, give us $1,000. And
speaking of xTool, lately I've seen, rather than xTool advertisements to purchase an xTool product, about 90% of the time now that I'm seeing it on social media, it's to become an authorized dealer to sell xTool products. So I think they're really trying to
they're trying to get distributors for stuff, right? They've been really looking for some dealers, resellers for things like the metal fab, because that's kind of, I mean, it's a cool product, and one of these days I'll get time to do a video on mine, but it's kind of on the fringe of their solution. And so it's not that they want to break it away, but they want the right people selling it, right? Because somebody who sells a diode laser isn't the right person to sell a metal fab. So
kind of like you stepped into the commercial lane, kind of.
Yeah, so I think, you know, they're trying to find a good dealer network for them, because for one thing, shipping them is expensive. So they'd like to, I think, get distribution centers closer to the markets wherever they are. So
Hoover said, I find LightBurn is way easy. I'm sorry. I find LightBurn is way easy. I'm sorry, is way too busy. XCS has a better layout and easier to use. I thought the same thing. I use LightBurn with multi-screens.
Yeah, so LightBurn, as I've always, you know, as a software developer for 35, 40 years, at least one of my roles, I would say, I've always said it, LightBurn was designed by software engineers for engineers to use. So XCS, well, xTool Studio now is designed for mere mortals to use, right? Like as much as my wife hates everything that's in my shop, I could teach her how to use xTool Studio in 20 minutes.
So
and she could actually do something.
to me, LightBurn reminds me of like Windows 3.11 or Windows 98, like the old school Windows Explorer, like the way the menus are set up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like too cluttered in one screen. But if you drag that off to another screen, you just literally have your workspace, and then you have your tools on a whole separate thing. That was like night and day difference for me.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, and I part of me feels sorry for the LightBurn guys, because LightBurn itself does everything you'd ever want. But and Rich will probably one of these days leave a comment, but it's hard to use compared to something like xTool Studio, right? And if you're a power user, yeah, you'll lean to LightBurn for sure. But I'm at the point now where I have literally one laser that uses LightBurn, and I cringe every time I need to use it because of that. Right? Just like the hardware again is good, but the software is not so good.
Yeah. Tim said purchase the xTool Omni 1 the day it launched. Anyone need a slightly used UFI E1?
This is an interesting statement here. Tim and I had this conversation too. So Eufy Make, if for those who don't know, with the E1 had the biggest single Kickstarter program ever, like $45 million Kickstarter project for something where their goal was 650,000. And they sold tons of these things. And all of a sudden, and I mean, they owned the market for a year. All of a sudden, now you've got things like the Hey Gears, which is a really, really nice UV printer. It also does 3D, which is very cool. And the O1, the ePrint is on its way. It's imminent. And all of a sudden, the market's crowded. Like literally overnight, it went from we own everything to now they're the small fish in the big pond.
Big Start said DaVinci Manual is 4,500 pages and well developed.
Yeah, but
the table of contents alone, ID is intimidating. I bought the editor keyboard. It's great, but what do you consider a key upgrade for your DaVinci workflow?
Well, go back there for a second. So the editing keyboard, I have one. It's sitting in a cabinet somewhere over here. I never use it.
What is it? Shortcuts?
DaVinci has a couple of different modes, right? And one of them is the edit mode, and then there's this other mode which I forget because I never use it. And this editing keyboard is designed for this other mode. You can use some of it in the basic editor, but it just gets in the way. So I never used it. But it came when I bought my commercial copy of DaVinci. It came with my license.
My daughter's really good at using that pen tool and editing video, drawing, all that. I could never do that.
Yeah, I don't either. But as far as like learning DaVinci, watch guys like Casey Ferris. He's probably the big one. There's a couple of guys in the UK that do really good stuff. Like Casey Ferris has a complete end-to-end get started with DaVinci. Blackmagic, the guys who make DaVinci, also have a set of tutorials you can watch, which is the 4,500 page manual in, I don't know, 15 videos or something. It really helps too. But editing video is not like anything else you could ever do in life. So the workflow is difficult no matter which tool you use, but once you get it, it takes me, I don't know, probably 2 hours at the most to do to edit a video end to end.
Yeah, the other thing is what I don't like lately. You see all over social media is all these apps. Take long form content, create short form content that's going to go viral. One click, you use the same set software that I use to create the Opus clips, and you know as well as I do, it does a good job sorting them, but it is not ready export. You definitely have to do video editing.
I let my license for Opus expire.
Okay.
In part I don't really like doing short form videos, because for most people who watch my channel, they want to see long form, they want details, right? So I don't bother that much, but I just find they don't do a great. So Opus is good at finding points of interest in, like this video, right? This 2 hours, it'll pull out the juicy bits, but that's kind of where it ends. It's like, here's a thing. Now go edit so that you can present it to somebody.
Exactly. Yeah, you still have to do on your own video edit. And then the other thing is that that there's two audio channels, right? So our audio can be different. So I'll clean up the audio, because when you're recreating it, I can fix it. We're live, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But like in videos where some of us have some background noise, you clean up that, or it sounds different. You can clean up the audio. But
but I don't know. I've gotten away from. I do a short video once in a while, but I get companies all the time going, "Oh, you want a long form video and a short?" And it's like, yeah, I don't do shorts anymore. So too bad.
Every video that I make 5 shorts of it. Every video.
Yeah, I could do that, but I mean, if you're just after views, sure.
No,
right.
What I'm after is that someone has the impatience, and even if you do a timestamp, to look through the whole video, and then when there's one interesting point in the video, it's pointed back, it's linked to the full content, so that.
Oh, I know.
That's what I'm doing.
But I don't know. It's like inevitably what you post in a short, like if you chop this video up, there's going to be pieces of it that are interesting, but they're out of context, because the thing that inspired that piece of the video happened 5 minutes beforehand, right?
Agreed.
So I don't know. I can't do short videos.
Big Sarge says, as I'm getting deeper improving video quality, I'm realizing that a poor cameraman I am. In my current project, I've put more hours in editing because I was a boob cameraman.
Yeah. So the good news is the camera is far less important than the audio.
Yes.
So you can be a pretty bad camera person, and as long as your audio is good, you get your message across, right?
So in Adobe, I set up presets, and every single thing that I just click this preset and I drag it to the video, and all these different settings I already had, it dials it in. The same thing with my audio. But that was over time figuring out what works best.
Yeah, I start all videos from a template that I made, and it has all the transitional graphics and stuff that I use regularly, and I just start from that.
Okay.
And that saves me a ton of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one of these days I'll do some YouTube videos, like how to make YouTube videos for makers specifically.
Adobe has this new.
The tendency is when you become when you decide you're going to become a YouTuber. I'm going to go buy like a crazy camera. I'm going to go buy gigantic screen in the back and all that stuff, right? We all do it, and the reality is, a lot of people who shoot really good videos and get, say, 100,000 subscribers in 5 months, those people shoot things on iPhones.
Look at Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel has like 200,000 subscribers, 25 million views. The Bearded Viking, if you know what I'm talking about, guys. He shoots every single thing on his iPhone. Yeah. And think about this. No matter, I have the 17 Pro Max, blah, 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 right? iPhones suck. They still don't do 8K. You can go buy a $300 Android phone. It's not going to have a lot of memory because it's a $300 Android phone, but it records in 8K. throw throw a memory stick in the side of it, and you got 2 terabyte storage. You know,
Although,
so like you don't need a super expensive camera.
Although it's easy to argue 8K is irrelevant, but
yeah.
Now what you can do, so by default, so the iPhone 16, 17, they have 48 megapixel cameras in them, but by default, the video on the camera is turned down to 24 megapixels. You can change that. You can turn on the 48, and it actually does improve video. So even when they're shooting when you're shooting 4K, you don't even need 24 million pixels, right? Because I mean, do the math, right? 4360 times 2180, and
I use every one of my cameras. I originally started with GoPros, but every camera of mine is Insta360s. I'm speaking of, I always use some contacts for Insta360. The camera I'm on right now is Insta360. I have the travel off. You know, that was annoying. I didn't like the travel, but I kind of was getting into the whole reason I was shopping different cameras was the CNC. I said, how am I going to show this? You know, and you can put a camera on the collar, and you know, I could probably use my GoPro for that. I don't know that I would use my Insta360 camera on that. If it fell, I'd be very mad. A GoPro, I might sacrifice it. But the Insta360, the one that actually follows you, you can stick that. So I was like, oh, I like that one.
Yeah, the reason I asked you for a contact is because I have a DJI, I don't know, the little handy Cam 3 thing, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it works. Like, it shoots great video, but it's so damn hard to use. And it's just, it doesn't zoom enough. Like, it's only got 2 times zoom, and there's just a lot that I don't like about it. And
no, Insta360 no complaints.
Yeah, so I thought, I'll talk to the Insta360 guys and you know, see what they have, because they have a new one, right? The Luna.
Yeah. I just got to dig through my. I think I have a box just set up for Insta360 when I was going back and forth. I got to see who I was talking to send you their info.
Yeah, because I'd like to. There's a couple of things I don't use this DJI in my studio. Usually, if I right now, I'm using it because I'm shooting outside, because I'm doing the motion lawnmower video, and yeah,
this is one on the laptop for the podcast. That's what I'm on right now.
So I use it when I'm outside, but I would use it more in in my studio or in my shop, except it's just a pain in the ass to use. Yeah, that's the precursor to the Luna, right? That's the previous generation.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, they shoot 360 degrees, and you can slice out the piece you want, right?
Exactly. You don't have to worry. You could face the ground if you wanted to. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? So you just turn the camera. And what's cool is if you upload raw footage, if you wanted to, and you have your phone and somebody's watching your video, and you're talking about something in the printer, let's just say you're doing a tutorial, like, this is how you would repair this print head, this is how you do that, and your camera's focused on there, and they're like, wow, I want to see that button on the other side. What is that button? All they have to do is turn their phone. And when they turn their phone, it turns the camera, because it is a 360 video. So you choose a primary focus point, but it still keeps it. So if somebody went like this and looked up, they could look at your ceiling. Now you could turn that off if you didn't want anybody to be able to do that. But it's kind of crazy. It's like VR mode almost, like, right?
Yeah.
Or the optical zoom, right? Since it records such a high resolution, if somebody wants to see something you're doing, you want to really zoom in on what you're doing, they can zoom all the way in and see it. So that's why I like the Insta360 cameras, because of that. And not the bad mouth GoPros, but GoPros is a action camera, right? If you're gonna go on a Harley ride and you want to put a camera, if you want to be on a drag strip and you want to put a camera, perfect. But the problem with GoPros is, if you're recording with that GoPro in your studio to make a video like this, and there's not air flowing on it, they have a problem that they tend to overheat, or your batteries expand to the point that they explode. So they're not made they get too hot. But if it was air was blowing on it, there's no problem at all. But in a studio setting, it's not the case.
I mean, last time I heard GoPro was on the verge of bankruptcy, but like they went downhill fast, right? They got clobbered by DJI and Insta360 and a couple of other companies because they got a comfortable spot and they stayed there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I have the DJI mics. I love their mics. But
the mic is great.
Yeah, I use them on every single, not on the podcast. On the podcast, I used the built-in microphone on the Insta360 camera.
Yeah, that's not a bad mic, actually. It sounds okay.
Yeah, so I tested it a couple of times, and you guys said this was great, so I just stopped using Insta360. I'm sorry, the DJI mic on the podcast at all. So
yeah. But
yeah, so
anyway, Sarge, yeah, don't fall into the trap of spending thousands of dollars on equipment until you get a little traction, right?
But again, like we're having this conversation right now, Insta360, DJI mics. This is not like a Sony studio camera, right? So
like
you can get right. You can buy an Insta360 camera. You can go buy a DJI camera. And you're not going to go wrong with that. And it's going to be, better than using your onboard laptop camera or whatever you're going to use, and still be able to get a 5K, 5.7K, 8K, whatever you want to do, 4K. I don't think you could go wrong. I think there's just there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Yeah, and I mean the thing with camera, like those little cameras that say, oh, we've got an 8K. You might have 8K resolution, but the pixels are so close together in the sensor that you get all kinds of noise and stuff, right? So it's not a practical, like it's a marketing bullet item, not a practical use thing. but yeah, I mean, once you get to the point where YouTube is starting to pay you, or better yet, some sponsor somebody wants to sponsor your channel. Then you can buy all the crazy stuff, right?
So my advice would be start with your cell phone. It's going to have a good resolution. Just bump it up to the highest resolution. And then the next step would be an Insta360 camera. And then when you finally start making money, and I'm saying finally because I'm not even there yet. I don't have a $7,000 cinema camera like Steve over there has. But exactly,
But I paid for them just before somebody says, "Oh yeah, you YouTubers get everything for free." No, I paid for them.
But 5.5 million views on YouTube. In 2025, I did 1.15 million views every month on this camera. So that just goes to show. But the one thing I did see an improvement in my watch is my audio, and that's why I got the DJI mics. So if you're starting with your cell phone, 100% go buy a DJI mic because people will deal with the quality of the camera.
The first big, like I was shooting on a Canon, I don't know, 200 when I first started YouTube, and it was okay. It wouldn't do 4K even. But the first major purchase I bought was a Shure microphone.
Yeah.
And then I bought a better Shure microphone, and now I have this Sennheiser microphone, which is like insane. But again, it was buy something or pay tax. So,
There you go. But hey, guys, this is us just being honest with you because we spent money wastefully at times, but we spent money and weren't impressed with the results, for it. So. We're not dropping affiliates and saying, buy this. We're just giving the truth and saying what we personally use and what we've learned, through the process. Chris said, I'm helping a friend set up a channel, spent $35 on cameras and $120 each on microphones.
Yep. That's probably a good ratio for the first while anyway.
Yeah. I'd be worried about a $35 camera. No.
Well,
if you guys
getting success on things like TikTok and YouTube, it's about the message. It's not about how pretty your face looks when you put it on a camera, right? These DJI. So the one good thing DJI did was they spun off a whole bunch of clone companies that make effectively the same exact camera for a fraction of the price. And it's a good place to start. I mean, they're 4K cameras, most of them.
Yeah. I was surprised TikTok. So many people see TikTok is weird. That you can go on, I can log on TikTok right now and it'll say, Rick, here's 47 companies you can do a review on, and here's the automatic rates. Do you agree to this? Yes, click. They'll mail it to you in 7 days. They can do all negotiation for you. And I have tons of things, but most of the time it's knockoff stuff. So like these DJI Pocket mic cameras, I almost thought about doing it just to get them away, but I don't know if I wanted to go down that rabbit hole. But you're absolutely right. The DJI knockoff cameras, $35, and they're doing the reviews and they're putting them next to each other, and you can't even see a difference. And then they're doing side by side videos, and you can't see a difference. And it's like, this is insane.
Yeah,
but yeah.
But anyway, that's not a bad place to start.
Yeah.
You know, when you get your first 1,000 subscribers, and then you go treat yourself and you buy a $60 camera, right?
One of my most viewed videos, it was on a USB webcam. It looks horrible, and to this day, I probably get between 10 to 20,000 views a month.
Yeah, but that's horrible. The thing, right? Like I mean, so it was probably like the second or third video I did that kind of went, quote unquote viral, right? It got 100,000 views, and I thought, oh, YouTube is easy. But that thing, I used like the cheap, like now the lens in this camera costs more than all of my equipment that I had before when I did that video, right? Like it's just. But it was successful because there was a message there, right?
Yes.
And people resounded, kind of picked up on the message. And that's all you're really trying to do anyway. So
Chris said the clones are legit cameras rebranded from Chinese DJI. I'm not trying to bash anything, but China has no loyalty, right? So I almost guarantee
there's no real intellectual property law in China. Yeah. These things probably fell off the DJI truck and they just
they're probably legit, they just spray painted somebody else's name on it, right? Yeah. It's same production line.
They're like factory seconds. They had a scratch on them or something. And
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. When I saw the side-by-side comparisons, but I just didn't want to go down that road. But speaking of giveaways, guys, manufacturer reached out to me and they wanted me to do a review on a 24-watt enclosed laser. And being completely transparent, I asked for an X amount of dollars to do the review, and I didn't think what they wanted was enough to compensate my time. And I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll meet you halfway. Pay me this, I'll do everything you said. However, I want 2 lasers I can give away. So I don't want the laser that you're going to give me. I'll give that away. And I want you to give me another one, and I'll do it on the giveaway. And if you do give me 2 lasers so that I can just give them away on the live, I'll do the review as long as you pay me what we agreed to." And I said, okay. So it seems to be a 24-watt enclosed laser. Seems like a decent starter laser. So hopefully that's coming soon. And I'm going to do giveaways. So going forward, just being transparent, some of these entry-level lasers that I think are worth it, when we do these reviews, if the compensation's not there that I think is for my time to give back to you guys for being loyal followers and watchers, I'm going to start giving those away. There's a lot of people who watch these videos. They don't have a laser. They're watching these because they want to learn about it, so I'm these lower end lasers that I would say that are not compensating enough for what I do. Not to say they're not a good laser. I'm just going to ask for additional lasers because let's be honest,
we did that with longer. We did that with longer, like a year ago, right? And they came on and they got to talk about their products and their company a bit. So
what was the laser we gave?
I should do more of that too, actually.
What was the laser we gave? What was that? That was the
Nano,
a little power looking one. Yeah, Nano. Pro. Yeah, so So if you're watching this, you're a laser manufacturer, you have some entry level lasers. If you're willing to give away to our audience, let's talk.
Yeah, I mean, I
this.
tend not to like. Sometimes, companies will offer money to do stuff. Okay, fine, but I tend not to ask for money usually.
No, I just been flat out asking.
In part because I don't want to be forced to say something, right?
No, it's not that I'm forced to say anything, but they are very specific. We want you to create this. We want you to cover these particular topics. We want this published by this time. We want this. Like, it's very demanding. You know what I mean? And it's different if you're like, hey, I'm going to give you a $15,000 CNC, or I'm going to give you a $15,000 MOPA laser, and I'm like, cool. I won't ask anything, because as far as I'm concerned, the product itself is my compensation. I'm going to use that to make money.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Now, I will say, when Bamboo contacted me, like they said, like, oh, like, how did we miss your channel, right? Like, we want to get you a printer. Which one do you want? And I said, well, I picked the H2C, and I said, like, do you want a video or anything? No problem. Just use it.
That's
okay.
Cool. Yeah, I was really. I paid for mine, but I was very surprised.
I paid for my H2D.
Yeah, I was very surprised on how supportive they were. Like, hey,
yeah.
Yeah,
and I know that. I mean, they've been getting their asses kicked a bit lately for their lawsuits and things, but they're still fundamentally one of the better companies to work with. So.
Cosmic has shrimp tanks. Yes, 24-watt diode laser. They have a 24-watt. They have a 12-watt. They have some IR lasers. I would say they're about the size of a Montport K40. If you guys know what that is, but I don't know. A little wide, broader than your shoulders. That's what they look like, Decent entry level lasers, $1,500, $1,000 lasers.
Did you divulge the name of the company?
I didn't drop the name yet, but yeah, but $1,500, $1,000. They're white with they normally have a orange screen. That might give some of it away, some of you guys know. But
I think I have one sitting in a box in my shop.
Yeah. So so they've been after me, and I just was telling them no. But the 2 laser giveaway, I said I'm going to do that. So hey guys, so if you guys or girls, I have a habit of saying guys, there's products that you are saving up for, products you would like to see. Let us know. Be vocal, because to be honest, manufacturers watch us, distributors watch us. So you guys say, hey, we'd like to see more giveaways. Hey, we'd like to see these. These people, they'll do it. Ask showers.
Yeah, I don't ask for xTool stuff. I don't think xTool kind of buys into that whole thing, but whatever. I mean, some companies are a little more desperate, I think, than.
Yeah, you're what was it, Cuddle? They were after me, being very aggressive, and I kind of made them mad. They went away.
Yeah, I don't know. Companies bug me sometimes. Now I get that they have a job, right? Like, their job is to get exposure, but they tend to be pretty persistent sometimes.
Chris said Bamboo is very underrated for their support. They have some glitches, but generally pretty good.
So
the one thing that I would,
well, you're going to go through this anyway because you have to rebuild your printer, but one of the things that Bamboo offers is, like, if you buy a part, and you can buy any part for your printer in their store, you don't have to go through support or anything. You can just buy one. When you go to the page where that part is in their store, there's a link there to a video that shows you how to remove the old one and put the new one in.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Everything. And so no one else does that, and I wish everybody did it.
No, nobody does that. And here's the other thing. When we were having issues with our podcast before I bought this new laptop, everyone's making fun of me, saying I look like a cheap foreign video, right? My lips weren't synced with the audio kind of deal. And generally, when you do see videos that are support from someone who's overseas, that's exactly what you get, right? It's like some Chinese person with an AI dubbed voice, and it's just this horrible, right? You're like, at that point, just show me your hands, and I don't need to see your face, right? Because I wouldn't know that they're not in sync. But when you're looking at the Bamboo studio or Bamboo's videos, they're like, whoa,
Yeah, they're professionally they're produced, right? Like they're good videos.
Yeah, and to top it off, it's everything. So like, how much that library is insane. So
yeah,
they took some time.
Yeah, I mean, Maker World is starting to turn into a community for people to sell their own designs too, right? So
yeah, yeah,
you know, so like they're trying to be is what xTool is in the laser world, what Apple is in the computer world, right? They're trying to be the center of a big wheel of activity, and
so
some companies can do it, and some just don't even see that happen, right? Like it's like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, like it's funny when someone would say, "Oh, you have a laser? Yeah. Oh, do you have an xTool?" Or they would say, "Do you have a what was the other brand?
Glowforge.
Commercials.
Glowforge.
Yeah, Glowforge. Right. Glowforge was first. Everyone just assumed, and then it was xTool. And these are people who know nothing about lasers. Right?
So yeah. So on that front, Glowforge basically declared bankruptcy there several months ago, and the two guys who founded it bought back all the rights from the investors, and they're now, I guess, flogging Glowforges on a shoestring budget. So that's why you haven't seen a lot of Glowforge lately. Like they're on life support right now. Jim says, Steve, did you get my email about Roger? Yeah, I saw something about Roger there the other day, yesterday.
Those who are wondering about Roger, he's still taking some time off to a little R&R for himself, going through some difficulties of the loss of his wife, and doing some things that kind of cheer his spirits, so to speak.
Yeah,
he's been
doing a lot of traveling now.
Traveling, riding his Harley, and cooking. He's been volunteering and cooking for charity events. So you gotta do your personal health means a lot. Your mental health means a lot. So he's taking care of himself, number one, which he should. So hopefully we'll have him back one of these days. But he's gotta do what he's gotta do to get himself in the right spirits.
Yeah.
Razor Ray said Crowley has done that service for me. What is that? Speaking of Roger, now if Roger was on here, you mentioned anything about Crowley.
He'd say, yeah, Crowley's done things to me too.
45 minutes later, like, okay, we got a new topic. Yeah, I don't have a Crowley, so I can't say
Crowley's trying to make a resurgence now too. They're coming out with their competitor to the index system that Prusa has, and we'll see how it works. Like they actually have some interesting tech in their system, in their index type system. So
that's cool. Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. I still have a soft place for Creality. I don't have a problem with them. I mean, their support could definitely be better, but their printers are pretty decent.
I just think that people always ask us all the time, what is something they can start, to make money, and I'll say this time and time again. A CNC takes a lot. It's a decent learning curve, and it's something you have to kind of babysit. I wouldn't. You can't be away from your home and you're running your CNC. A laser, you should never leave the room when that laser's running, right? I'm not saying you can't be multitasking and doing other things, but you should not definitely leave your house and cause a fire and burn down your home. But a 3D printer is something that you could be at work controlling from your phone and making things. But the only thing that I say that's bad about a 3D printer is at this stage in technology, they're slow. And I don't care if you have a $500 3D printer or a $5,000 3D printer. They're all slow, right? That's why you see anyone with a print farm, they have a print farm, like rows of them.
Yeah. So there is, so 3D printers are they're still evolving. Even FDM printers, they're going to get faster. I mean, they're not going to, like, you're not going to be able to print something in a second, but they're probably still, there's probably still room for them to double in speed. But the new thing now is, so they're using resin. They're like resin printers, but they don't print layers. They print the entire image in a vat of liquid. And they're still pretty early days, but they're up and coming fast, because that cuts your print time down to a couple of minutes or something.
Absolutely. And I keep saying this, and I think it's true, to be honest. It's going to be a point that 3D printer is in everyone's house. Just like when
it's an appliance, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to come to that point that that's just something that everyone owns. Before, do you have a Xerox machine with it's like this huge 4 foot by something. You'd only have it in a commercial environment. You had it at work. You didn't have that at home. And now to think, you have a printer at home? That's crazy. But everyone.
Well, but most printers have scanners built into them, so you can use them like a copier. Yeah,
exactly. So I think it's going to come to that point for sure. I think that, and then I think then the prices will be down. And the expensive ones will be the high-end commercial ones with a larger footprint, faster print time.
I mean, right now we're still in the phase of more and more industrial technology being pushed down. And I mean, you're certainly going to see more of that over the next year or two. But there will be, like, Bamboo took 3D printers and turned them into toasters effectively, right? Where you really don't have to think about using it. You drop, something that looks like the shape you want on your, virtual workspace on your computer, and you push the print button, and everything else is kind of handled for you. So we're almost there. We're almost there. What's the biggest holdback is still the fact that, like, I'm printing something right now that is taking 12 hours.
Yeah, and look up.
Make it take 2 hours, I'll be happy.
I wanted to print this Aztec calendar, and as big as I could print it on the Bamboo. And it's like a day, because the Aztec calendar has so many details. Like, it's very detailed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy cow, like an entire day. But yeah,
Yeah. But
Razor Race had a problem. Sent them videos and pictures. They sent me a box of parts. Everything had a QR code to video. Yeah, that's just insane.
But that's how they work, right? And I had this conversation with my brother, and he said, "Well, what if you need service?" I said, "They have videos for every single part in their printer." This is like the equivalent of, when you buy a car, you get a mechanic with it, right? Like, you don't have to be a mechanic. You just have to watch a video, and you can do it.
Well, mind you, cars back in the day, in the manual, used to tell you how to adjust your points and how to rebuild parts of your transmission. And now people can't change the tire, right?
Yeah. Well, when, like, the very first new car I bought, first thing they do is open the hood. Look at this engine. Look how awesome it is. And it's like, now, like, if you go to, like, an Audi, BMW, even like a GM or Ford, they don't even open the hood anymore.
No,
it's like, don't go in there, right? We'll take care of that.
Yeah, they're going to show you the stereo. I remember every time I go to test drive a car, they're like, "Want to turn on the stereo?" I'm like, "Turn the radio off. I don't know what the hell the stereo sounds like."
Yeah,
I want to hear the car. I want to hear the motor. Like,
of course, Yeah, of course. From my first new car that I bought, you could open the hood and you could actually see space around the engine. You look at I had a Mercedes C300 at one point, and you open the hood, and it's just like level with engine. Like there's no space anywhere. There's a little blue cap over here to put the windshield washer in. That's it. Like everything else is just sealed in plastic, right? Like with Mercedes logo all over it. You don't service cars anymore. That's not your job, right? Your job is to drive it.
Speaking of servicing cars, they were saying that cars now are back to not lasting over 100,000 miles. And one of the reasons they said that is because people are saying that you should be doing oil changes every 10,000 miles. And they're saying that not that the oil doesn't have the viscosity to be able to run that long, but what it's doing is it's creating the sludge. You're still creating the same dirt in your by changing, you're also removing dirt. Not that the oil doesn't still have the viscosity to protect your engine. You're just still leaving the same dirt in your engine, right?
Yeah, it's like almost all cars use synthetic oil now, right? So, I mean, it lasts forever,
right?
Except
the dirt,
it does get full of crap, right?
Yes. So they're saying if you go back to the 4,000 miles versus this 10,000 miles is how long the oil will last, and so it's not, lubricating as it should. Your engine will last 300,000 miles like they used to, but it's kind of crazy. Razor Ray said I replaced the guts of a CFS in the extruder service with related parts. Yeah. 1Finity tried this when I got my 1Finity CNC. They had this barcode scans, to tell you how to do certain steps. And I'd go to it, and it wasn't the same thing. And then they made the same video like 4 times, like revisions, but they didn't even link them in a library. Like I had to go back to their videos and search for things. So they were very disorganized. I think they were attempting that bamboo lab theory, but they just did not do a good.
Yeah,
not do good.
That's the thing. It's like Bamboo just did a good execution on that.
Yep. Big Sarge, the 3D printers are slow. I've been playing with the 3D printer molds at pouring
parts. Yeah, for silicone or something.
Cure rate has sped up with a slow temp. I'm printing 10 to 20 molds for throughput. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, you can make anything with a 3D printer. It's crazy. The fact that the military is even using on submarines says something, right? It's not like they can order an Amazon part and have it delivered in 2 days. You're in the middle of the ocean.
Hopefully, they're not using PLA to print something that needs to be, reliable.
I'm sure they have custom filament. I'm sure, right?
Yeah, it'll be like Peak or something, some production quality print filament.
They got something cool. Big Sarge said, I'm mostly molding silicone, so it releases gray with ABS. That's cool.
It releases gray from any 3D printed plastic. Nothing sticks to silicone, so that's cool. I'm doing some silicone molds right now too. So,
Chris said, when you buy a car these days, you have to ask, how much is the subscription to all these features I'm buying?
Yeah, this is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even the performance, like you have X amount of horsepower. Oh, you want additional horsepower? It's going to cost you this. Like it's literally a featured enabled product. Like that is just. I told my wife I'm going to definitely put some money into my truck. I think I'm going to run my truck to the ground because I can't justify these prices and what you're getting. Like I drive a Dodge Ram Laramie. It says every option you could ask for. It's $117,000 to buy a brand new one. I'm not buying it. I'll go buy an Escalade. I'm not buying a $120,000 pickup. That's just ridiculous. There's no reason that truck shouldn't be $30,000.
But it's got a 10-year warranty.
But still, that's just. You're right. It does have a 10-year, 100,000, 10 years. Yeah.
I'm going to drive my car till it's dead too. I mean, the only thing that can really go wrong with my car is the battery pack. Right. And at that point, I'll say tow it away and I'll just go buy something else. I'm not.
I've even heard companies now, not dealers, that they'll take your battery and they'll test the cells and just replace.
There are companies who will change individual cells in the battery, but I mean, my car is a 2018. So,
Yeah, my truck's a 2021 now.
It's still
So-
like my car still drives like a new car, in part because it doesn't make any noise, right? So
Razor Ray said I have over 23 years of PC and printer repair experience. There you go. Sounds like Razor Ray's going to do some tutorial videos. That's what I heard.
yeah, for all the gaps in bamboo printers where they don't tell you how to fix it.
Yeah,
There's
so
not many. Do that for Creality, and you'll make $1 million.
You can team up with Roger. What videos suck?
Yeah, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, there you go. Chris said Razor Ray reminds me of one of the printers I had to repair. They actually bent the pins on a dot matrix printer. I still often wonder, how did they do that? Yeah, crazy. Well, today actually
using those metal print ribbons.
Today actually went pretty fast. It's 8:30 already. That was fast. So appreciate you guys. I know we're going through some bad economical times. Stick with there. And I know we're talking about business to business. One thing I want to say is that don't ever lose a customer, turn down a customer. Remember that if you have a laser, you don't have a CNC. You have a CNC, you don't have a laser. You have a community. There's nothing wrong with outsourcing. Even if it means you make nothing or barely nothing, the point is that you please the customer and they'll come back again. If you turn them to someone else, or give them to someone else, or hand them to someone else, they may never come back. Just keep that in mind. And then at the same token, that as you give somebody else some business, I'm sure that'll come full circle and they'll do the same back to you. We all get overflows. We all help each other. And as long as you're doing good work for each other and even buy from each other. So.
Yeah, and I mean, and make friends, right? If you've got a laser, make friends with somebody who's got a CNC and say, hey, you can use mine, I'll use yours, and now we're twice as effective as we used to be, right? So
exactly, or help each other when you're beating your head against a wall because you just don't understand something.
Yeah, and so do a ad hoc maker club of some sort, right? And just collect a bunch of people with different tools.
There you go. If more people were caring and sharing, then there's so much work to go around. We don't have to be that any other way, though.
It's not. The maker business should not be a cutthroat business. There's so much to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So leaving on that note, guys, just widening your horizon, so to speak. Think outside the box a little bit, and good luck, everyone, because I know we're tightening our belt, so to speak. We're in for a long haul in this economy. Steve, you want to close us out?
Good luck with your economy, I'll say.
Yeah.
All right, at least you can say your president's not trying to kill your country. He's trying to kill mine, but we'll get through it.
It's all the above. All right, guys. See you next week.
Take care.
Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.